Alright, folks, a lot of people will tell you that America has no culture. Yeah, maybe they can agree. I would disagree. I would say America has a lot of culture. And today I'd like to talk about exactly what American culture is, what our imperialist shenanigans are propagated throughout the rest of the world through the use of violence and destruction. So let's talk about what American culture is. American culture is the worship of fags, first of all. It's the idolization of self-mutilation in transsexuals. It's the absolute love of debauchery and, people murdering each other with AIDS. That is what American culture really is. And it's enforcing that throughout the rest of the world and accepting that with violence, of course. That's really what American culture is. American culture is the worship of blacks. It's the worship of, criminal I won't say that, but criminal scum, basically, rampaging about and giving people racially based incentives and I guess there's no other word for it but privileges. So it's about giving these dark-skinned thugs the ability to do as they please without suffering consequences. That's a big part of American culture. And then again, enforcing that through violence, because if you dislike that, someone with a gun from the government is going to come from you, or they're going to try and destroy your life, or they're going to do some kind of violence to you if you refuse to accept that premise. So, and we're trying to enforce that throughout the rest of the world through the use of force. Of course, we start coups in other nations that don't align with our quote-unquote values, that is the worship of blacks and the worship of gays. So, that's basically what American culture is in modern year. It's a disgusting, degenerate hive of villainy and scum. I don't think there's any other way to describe that. America is the great Satan. Yes, the Taliban was right, and we deserve to perish, and we all deserve to be slaughtered for having this come in our country. There's plenty of reasons why Americans deserve to be slaughtered. Americans deserve to be slaughtered because we let the stealing of the 2020 election and the year 2000 election happen, by the way. Like, anyone who thinks that the year 2000 election was legitimate is also brain dead. But we've allowed two stolen elections to persist in this country within 20 years. We're a pathetic people filled with spineless, hedonistic degenerates. That's really what American culture is. American culture is, idolizing criminality, is idolizing degeneracy, is promoting sex as the highest universal value, even though sex, by any definition, is not any sort of value. Doesn't bring any value to your life in particular. It may, if used properly, bring another life into that, but America is also the place that celebrates murder, like destroying new lives for fun. America is the place that celebrates destroying untold amounts of animal and natural life for no real reason, just because we can, we like the taste or whatever. America is a nation of destructive animalistic apes. And, is it any wonder that the IQ of the average American has dropped 20 points within my lifetime? Not shocking. I mean, you are what you eat. You are where, you are the culture that you inculcate, right? And you can see American, black worship, American gay worship everywhere. It's in our media. It's being shoved down our throat. Our corporations receive tax benefits for, including all sorts of degenerate, disgusting behavior. And of course they're going to do it, like fiduciary responsibility. Corporations have to do what corporations have to do, but it leaves nothing but a foul taste in my mouth, given the entire circumstance. So that's really what America is and what American culture is and why it propagates. The reason why the political left will say America has no culture is because they want that narrative to propagate, because if you look at what American culture actually is, you're going to get a foul freaking taste in your mouth. Americans are the people that literally let their elections get subverted, Americans are the people that let their protesters get shot at, the January 6th protest and did nothing about it, as some, saint, someone who received a medal, whatever the officer's name is, Bird, I think, don't quote me on it though, received a medal for shooting an unarmed woman in the neck. That's what America is, honestly. If you want to encapsulate what America is, you need to look no further than the Ashley Babbitt story, right? Where some African American big shot state officer shoots an unarmed woman trying to climb through a window in the neck and receives a medal for it. Because that story would go the same way multiple ways around, right? But she believed in the wrong things, I guess. So that makes the assaults perfectly justifiable, right? Absolutely brilliant and beautiful. Stunning and brave, you know. But that's the reality of what American culture is and who Americans are. They're a pathetic group of people, a pathetic race who has fallen far into decadence and debauchery. And I cannot wait till China, Russia, anyone, please come cleanse the earth of this foul taint. Like anything, please destroy America and Americans in general. I don't care. Yeah, if I go with them, so be it. No loss on my part. Like, I will never, ever put my life on the line for this country. I will be a conscious objector at the very least. And if I'm trying to, if they try and force me to do it, I'm turning that rifle on every single freaking instructor I can and every single high officer I can before I die. Like, I would rather take an American bullet than a Chinese bullet or a Russian bullet at this point. Anything I can do to try and take down global homo at its head, and the head of the global homo snake resides here in America. Like, my freaking god, it's so disgusting. And America is the type of country that uses its imperial might to try and force these values of degeneracy throughout the rest of the world. Our goal is to bring down the rest of the world to our level so they never advance, so we can destroy humanity every little bit at a time, so we can turn the entire world into our own little mouse utopia experiment. America is the type of country that calls, that says women deserve the vote because of equality, and yet they're still not forced to sign up for the draft. That women get to vote on whether or not men can die in these wars and elect leaders who kill these men. So we have the majority of the population's women sending off the minority of the population, men, to die for no freaking, and that's considered equality, right? They're literally murdering them for no freaking reason just to increase their own sexual marketplace value. And is there any wonder that, post women getting the vote, America has literally been in a war the entire time, minus the couple of years Trump was president? I'm not mistaken on that, right? Like, since 1914, how many years have we not been at war with another nation? It's kind of hard to even fathom it, but that's what happens when you give women the vote universally also. Those are the kind of values we're trying to force into the rest of the world. We're trying to force the sexual liberation onto the entire world so that you can have women working in every country and destroying families, and we obviously want to try and propagate American values like 80% divorce rate. We need that for the entire world. We need to better the world. This is what liberating the world means, is having them, get to enjoy an 80% divorce rate like we have here in the United States, like a 7% or whatever it is rate of identifying as a fag. Like, that's the glory of America right there. That's the might of America coming through in all of its imperialism. Like, how far has the world fallen, and how far has America fallen into this Marxist ideology, where now it's considered mainstream to peddle Engels propaganda as if somehow that's a universal good. It's just degenerate as can possibly be. And you're not even allowed to call out the Marxism, because if you do, you're a conspiracy theory. It's like, well, no, the LGBTQ people aren't Marxist. This isn't Marxism. Ignore everything, even though we're citing Marxism and we're using Marxism and we're deconstructing gender, but that's not Marxism. No, you're a sexist homophobe if you identify what we're doing. You're not allowed to talk about what we're doing. You're only allowed to talk about what we allow you to talk about, because that's what democracy is about. Democracy dies in darkness. Well, it's died in America, and America is definitely darker now. So, that's just it. Like, I'm so glad that we're allowing a bunch of, ethnic youths and minorities free pass to destroy our country as well. Like, thank God that we have this huge coalition of dark-skinned, rampaging hoodlums killing and looting indiscriminately in every single city. Like, American crime statistics now, since the Biden takeover, are worse than freaking Nicaragua in some of our cities. Like, my God, we're basically the third world now. Like, holy heck, the murder rate in New York City is worse than freaking Nicaragua. How can anyone justify any of this? But it doesn't really matter. Like, reality doesn't matter. It's all just some Marxist bullshit anyways. And it is what it is. I'm tired of, like, censoring myself to the extent, I have been as far as here. You know what? In fact, we're actually going to end this properly. Let me give you guys my opinion about all of the glorious Chicago gangs that are rampaging through this country, all of the degenerate rap music talking about, like, the amount of women you are willing to sleep with and how to abuse them, etc. Let me tell you about the rampant drug dealing and infestation in our cities and the glorification of all that culture. Let me tell you what I think about that. Niggers! Oh no. Anyways, and with that, I'll end the video.